bwana. Ilienda hapo juu kidogo tena Marashuga kafanya ile kitu. Gor Mahia kurudi pale, so we also have that. They also had glory Manchester United.
Yes,
timu kubwa pia ilichapa mtu pale, then Arsenal wakapiga draw yao after wametusifu for long. Ati thank you for helping us. Sasa helping us alafu wana draw. So you wonder kuna wasaidiaje. So we also have that, will be unpacking. Alafu pia mnajua Afcon 2027 is coming to East Africa. The flag was officially given to Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. So tuko na a lot of stuff zentuongelelea. I will just try to balance this time tuone how far we can go. And today I only have one co-host wangu hapa, awasalimie, then we dig in deeper to these stories.
Yes, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope it's a beautiful day, and we are, like I said, we have a lot in store for you. So keep it locked ndani ya the scoreboard and brace yourself for a nice show.
Obviously Afcon, everyone sahi anaongea Afcon. Last week ilikuwa show speed, leo tuko Afcon. Habari yako ime trend sana. Yes. Jamani, mwanadi akiwa huko Morocco bara na salimia tu watu habari yako. Habari yako, which is good. So Afcon, what is your assessment here, Afcon Morocco 2025 na everything with it?
Generally, I think it has been a nice tournament, apart from the officiating part, because Morocco was well prepared. If you look at the infrastructure, amazing, fantastic. You look at the stadiums, the infrastructure that connect the stadiums from places to places, it is just amazing. And I think that was kudos for Morocco as a hosting nation. Did exemplary well, by the fact that it came late, because it was supposed to be held, but the late change and the preparedness that we see from them, and the kind of levels that they have set, the bar they have set, it is amazing. I'm just saying it's an amazing. It has been an amazing experience, an amazing show of football. Apart from the officiating part, because it's not once or twice we've heard about issues when it comes to officiating, when teams going home not satisfied with the officiating part. So I feel like that is something you can improve on, because if you look at the previous Afcon, the officiating was superb. So I don't know what went wrong with this. So I think that is something that CAF and the refereeing body will check on that.
In terms of travel, pia tumekuwa na issues of surprises whereby unapata the smaller teams zina move. Hii Afcon ya Morocco edition, kuna kitu imekusurprise or everything was just as expected in terms of teams zenye zimefika mpaka finali?
I think there was a surprise, especially Tanzania qualifying for the knockouts. It's the round of 16, I think. If I'm not wrong. It was their first, and it is something that shocked me. I didn't expect that, despite the fact that they qualified in a strange way, because as best losers, they had not won any game in the group stage. They only had 2 draws, but luckily they progressed. So it was a shocker for me, and kudos to them, because it was like history made for them. Tanzania is one team that has never won in Afcon a single game. It has never won. It still has not, but progressing to the
is good.
It's a good thing that happened. And now another thing is Nigeria. Nigeria came in as a shock for me, despite the fact that they didn't reach the final, but they did so well. They finished third place. They did exactly. They did so well for themselves, but the fact that they were not in the previous Afcon.
No.
So this one coming in and trying to and showing what they're made of, and kudos to players like this guy from Everton.
DI or
no
for Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
What did doing? Lukman.
Not Ademola. Not the other one. Okay, Fulham. See, from the one from Fulham.
Basi.
No, this cousin of Okocha.
Iwobi.
Iwobi did so well. Lukman did so well, and I'm proud of them. And I can say that I hope that the next Afcon to have such competitions, such surprises, and I hope that East African teams are going to step up. Because Uganda was a letdown. Uganda was a letdown for this Afcon, and I expected so much from them, being the representatives of East Africa, and the fact that they went away from the group stage. I didn't expect that.
Then ukiangalia pia Uganda, they always when it comes to qualifiers, they always take on very big teams and stuff like that. Can you say maybe pressure maybe comes in or something? Afcon is a big stage for them that they can't. Unaona wakienda kwa group stage, even if they are given Ghana, Nigeria or whatever team, you'll find them that at home they even win. And when it comes to qualifying for these tournaments, they go more than Kenya. But sijui ni ama experience or I don't know what happened.
I think for Uganda the greatest undoing is their FIFA ranking. Because they are up there with the best. I think it's above 100.
Yeah.
So it's a disadvantage for them even when it comes to choosing who they are going to compete to play against. Let's play the fact that they're just giants like you're a giant in your own time. So when you go outside, it's a different ball game. So I feel like the experience. If you're talking about experience, they've been there. It is not the first time. So they have the experience. I don't know what is wrong. Maybe the levels in the East Africa, in the African region when it comes to football is maybe it's just not there yet as compared to their friends from West Africa and Southern Africa. Yeah.
So kulikuwa na controversy in the final where we saw, and kudos to Nigeria for finishing third. Egypt was quite a good team also with Mo Salah and everything else. Let's talk Morocco and Senegal. Kulikuwa na so many issues. One of them, we saw Senegal going out. We want to know what you think about that. After the penalty, they felt the goal, they feel like VR should have checked it maybe. Alafu pia tuliona the infield decision. As a player yourself, na having maybe experienced this because in Kenya poor officiating in the jam. So do you think what the actions taken by Senegal in that match, was it fair? And maybe what's your reaction to just everything that happened in that final?
I think for them coming to a point where they're working out, I don't think it was the right decision for me when it comes to football, because I feel like there are right channels to air in your disappointments. But I feel I still understand them because this is a final, and there are emotions that comes with the final. Yeah. And if you look at that at the time when that penalty was won, it was in the late moments of the game, and that's where the emotions are running high because it's only one chance. You take one chance and you're going with the cap, and also I would understand them from the emotional point because at the end of the day, they are humans. But I'm happy because they came back, and you see they are coming back. Now they won it. You see, it's a good thing. And as a big fan of Senegal in this particular tournament, I'm happy for that. But I feel like the issue of officiating should not go unchecked. Because in such a major tournament, that is something we should not be experiencing. If you look at the previous African Cup of Nations, one thing that Africa was proud of was the officiating. It had the perfect officiating. Even you couldn't even compare with the World Cup and the Euros that had played then. African football had elevated to a point whereby people started talking about it. If you look at the African Cup of Nations for this year, this is the first African Cup of Nations that even the Europe and the Americas were focusing on, which means from what we had in the previous, it helped this one here. So this aspect of officiating should be checked on that. And there's this notion that we have as Africans that the teams from North Africa are always favored. Now, as much I don't know how true that is, but that notion that has been created, then it makes it serves it will, of course, it should make the referees want to be even more fair, so that we can avoid that, because this problem of teams being taken out, and they're not convinced about by the way they were taken out. It is a big issue that I think CAF should address now, even before the next Afcon. Yeah, because I think everything went so well, and you don't just lose because the referee decides so. A game of football should be decided by what happens on the pitch. Exactly. But yeah, I think we'll see. It's a developing story because we want also to see how it is going to happen. Thiaw, the coach of Senegal, was so mad. Coach of Morocco akasema that's being childish, babyish. So we are looking at what Motsepe will say, the CAF president, on the same if there will be any disciplinary actions against Senegal or maybe the officiating team, which also included one Kenyan who was a VR assistant. Exactly,
which was good. We also saw Kenya making debut as a center referee. Also pia hiyo kidogo ilitubeba. Given that Afcon 2027 is happening here in East Africa, it's good. So let us talk about Mane. Mane alisema kwamba I have done my race, I have done so well, and I think this has to be my last Afcon. So Mane as a legend, where do you rank him among the best, the De La Creams of African football? And do you think at 33 it is time for him maybe to go, or maybe atupatie sisi kama Kenya one last dance at Kasarani, then anaweza potea?
I would have loved if he came to if he played in the next Afcon, especially in East Africa, because he's one player I adore so much since his days in Southampton. I first saw him at Southampton, and I would have loved to see him in the Afcon 2027. So I would understand if he wants to retire, because I feel like at 33 you want even others to grow to take that place, because at the end of the day, the countries in East Africa are not short of talent, but losing a player like Mane in the national team is a very big loss for him, And I feel like maybe the federation will talk to him, the Senegalese federation will talk to him to have one last dance, Now they want for goodbyes, I feel, and I know they will do that, because you want to see such a person in your team. You see what he did there. He made the team come back to play. That's the leader that you want to see, and it will be a big loss for them if he decides to retire. If he goes through with the retirement, if they don't talk him out of it. So I feel like Mane is one of the, you cannot talk African football without mentioning Mane. Not just because of this Afcon. He has been doing that consistently over the years, And I'm very proud that I live in a generation where I saw him play. He played for my rival team in England, but I still liked him a lot, because of just his personality, first of all, his contribution whenever he's called upon on the pitch. Mane is one player that you can never speak about a bad game that you see from him.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very difficult to point out a bad game from him, And you saw when he came out of Liverpool, when he transferred from Liverpool, we saw that deep in form because of the loss they had of Mane, because the contribution that he had, the type of contribution him and Salah created at Liverpool, it was enormous, And Liverpool felt that loss, Went to Bayern, also did well despite the fact that things happened the way they did. Whatever he's in Qatar,
Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia.
He still doing so well. So I feel like Mane still has, when it comes to talent and ability, he still has years. But if you look at the age-wise, I would understand him, because football is a very when you cross the 30-year mark, you start looking at retiring, from international football and just reducing the number of games you need to play. So you want to concentrate on your club football, So I would understand from that. But if I was asked, I would really love to see the one last dance from him, because if Afcon is coming to South Africa, and I'll get a chance to see him up close, So
yeah, we are looking forward to that, because hata Cristiano ndio huyo anachapa 40 na bado anaenda World Cup. So exactly. It will be interesting to see what comes out, because pia Coach Thiaw was like, Mane, you can't retire, it is so soon. We still need 2 more years of you. So probably they were looking at World Cup this year, then Afcon next year, then he can retire. But we don't know. Wanasema a best dancer knows when to leave the stage. So probably Mane ameona with the cuff in my hands is the best time. So we will be looking at what that transpires too. So I will see. We'll next week, I think on Monday, we will be telling you what happened to Senegal, if any disciplinary actions were taken, if Mane stood by his decisions, and any other developing story that was there. So maybe let us talk about lessons learned before we now transition to KPL. What can Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda learn in terms of what has happened in Morocco, in terms of preparation, funds, and everything else, to just make sure that 2027 becomes even bigger and better?
A lot of lessons can be learned from this Afcon. First of all, the infrastructure, because Afcon is a very big tournament. It's a continental tournament, and you want to see. And if you're given the hosting rights, then it comes with pressure to deliver. And this comes at a very bad time, because the previous host was Morocco. And we have seen the infrastructure. We have seen the atmosphere in Morocco, So it's pressure for even these countries to deliver, to have even more, because we wouldn't want to come out of Afcon in South Africa then say the previous one was better. No, we don't want to see that. Now coming from a point whereby East Africa hosted one of the best CHAN tournaments ever, as coming from CAF's mouth, you don't want to go below that level, and so. It's a very big pressure for these three East African nations to deliver a better, because you expect this one to be better than Morocco.
Definitely.
If you look from the opening ceremony, you saw what happened, how it happened. Epic, epic. So I'm looking forward to see what East Africa has to offer in terms of that, and also of course the national team, the hosting nation. We saw Morocco reach the final.
Yeah, exactly. So pressure.
As a hosting nation. That bragging right, that pressure you want to deliver to the home fans, and being and that right of hosting, now you want also to reach somewhere. So it's upon Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya to make sure that they pull a squad that can at least get somewhere, you know, because no East African nation has ever reached the semi-finals, if I'm not wrong. So at least get to that point. Even if you don't get the final, break something. Give us something to talk about, you know. That's something positive, you know. Exactly. At least the semi-finals will be good for us. So I feel like it's a lot of pressure for these three nations.
So that's a good one because pia tukiangalia the way people were peaceful during those matches, the fans, they were mingling. Unapata it is Morocco versus maybe DRC Congo, the fans are mingling, they're having fun, and also easy. Okay, day one kulikuwa na some allegations of people jumping over the fences. We don't know, but I just hope Kenyans learned how to handle, because this time stars watakuja. Ile CHAN, it was just locally based players, but this time they'll be seeing even more international players, more established players coming. So a lot, there'll be this demand for tickets and stuff. Alafu ticket holding,
and security
also, exactly,
because they started players that will be coming to be flagging to this nation. You see a Salah here, hopefully money will be around. You see an Iwobi here, you see Bisaka, the Diaz, you see. So you want a very tight security, because you know how rowdy our fans can be in this country, you know, and big tracks sometimes can make you go overboard, you know? So that security is a very crucial part.
Yes, I think Kenyan, the East Africa community mnaangalia, because it is also very important. Then must talk about group stage. It's always embarrassing when you are hosting a tournament alafu unatoka group stage. Fika hata quarters. All of the three of them, the same tutabeba majirani wetu wote tunakubali tuende.
At least quarters.
Wote watatu tufike quarters, then mmoja afike semi ama wawili. At least third place ichezwe pia, because I think the final being played in Kenya, which I think tutapewa hiyo rights of hosting it pale Rao Stadium. Most likely. So it's just very important for Kenyans' pride. Kenya jaribuni kidogo bana. Mcheze hapa nyumbani, so that at least we can celebrate something. Then lastly nimeona wakiongelea kuhusu Motsepe talking about CHAN being a waste of time and also resources, and I feel like it is time Kenya in a transfer. No, not Kenya actually, Afcon in a change from being a tournament, CHAN being a tournament, to being an Africa Nationals League. Kama ile ya Maju, ile Nationals League yao ile. Now instead of having this alikuwa anaziita useless friendlies and costly friendlies, tukuwe na league whereby tuko na tiers mbili. Wale wenye wako vile tu England nacheza hiyo Nationals League England, the same thing anasema it is high time we adopted that, because sahi Afcon inaenda from 2 years to 4 years.
True.
Unaona? So hiyo mambo ya 2 years inaisha. So do you think it's a good idea, ama CHAN, tukitoa CHAN we will definitely kill the morale ya local based players?
I think it works both ways. First of all, I want to put this across. I trust Motsepe with everything when it comes to football management. He has done exceptionally well. You know, he's one of the presidents of CAF that we have seen him do things that maybe the previous ones didn't attempt to do. You know, trying to diversify and make sure that football is felt from all over Africa. You know, for the first time, he even the previous CHAN, he forced it to be in East Africa. And there's one incident that happened before this final, whereby in the press, whereby a journalist asked him about how does he trust that East Africa will hold a successful football. There's one thing he answered, and I was happy. He said that his role as the president of CAF is to make sure that football reaches every corner of Africa, not just the nations that we presume to be big and better. No. Every corner of Africa should football should reach out to them. So I know Motsepe means well for this African football, and if he feels like and every stakeholder feels like that is the way to go, I cannot oppose that, because that's where like everything is going in terms of football. No, from Europe to I believe America will also be adapting that. So I feel we should also be in the forefront to make sure that we go with the times. You know, if it calls for that, then well and good. And for the local players, I feel like, as much as it will be a loss for them, but it will be a calling for them to up their socks so that they can be part of the national teams to be able to get there. You know, sometimes you can relax because you feel like the child will be coming.
Exactly.
So now it is not there. So it's upon you now to pull up your socks, to be that player that can be is able to be called upon in the national team. So it will force them to up their levels.
So what do you think about that? CHAN being abolished and Afcon going to after every 4 years, then alternate between World Cup, Euro and Afcon. So it will be 1 year. Itakuwa marathon. What do you think about all those things, and do you think those plans will help Kenya? Pia naweza tuambia, what did you learn from the Morocco Afcon 2025 to flowing to 2026. What did you learn about that, and what can East Africa learn from the same? So maybe we can transition and come back to Kenyan football, because tumeona sahi kuko na a good rivalry. Okay, it has been there, the mashemeji rivalry, but moja ilikuwa about the game, the home and away peke yake. Kuko na like rivalry kama ya hii season yenye huyu anashinda anapita huyu mwingine, so there is more at stake in this regard. Maybe what do you think has changed between the two teams in your own opinion, yenye imefanya FC Leopards imekuwa this consistent and also pia able to take Gor Mahia head to head, because this is actually head to head, ni shinda nikupite hivyo.
I think FC Leopards, the change of management has come with a lot of goodness and beautiful moments, you know, because since I was born, this is the first time I'm experiencing such a rivalry. Yeah. You know, because like you've said, earlier it was just about the Mashemiji derby, only the two-legged derby. But right now, you see, they are competing on who. Right now, you're not even sure who will finish at your right between Leopards and Gor Mahia, you know. So it's a good thing. It's the first time I'm seeing this, and I've enjoyed it right from the pitch, the fans and all the banters. It's a beauty to behold, you know, and that's what we have always cried for, because this being the oldest and one of the oldest and the biggest teams in the land. We needed to see the rivalry now, and we are experiencing it right now firsthand, and it's a beautiful thing. And the fact that, like, for now, let me now talk about the FC Leopards. Now, I feel like the new management, and if you've followed football for quite some time, you know Ambani, you know Boniface Ambani, in the levels that he inspires. You know, we've seen him at Marashuga being the director of football, what he did there. You have seen him. I've read his history as a player. I see what he was doing. You know. And I've heard him talk, because as a supporter I have to listen to him most of the time, during his campaign time, even before the campaigns, how he was speaking, how serious he is about improvement of football. He has been a coach, a youth coach for the FC Leopard Cubs, you know. We saw what he did there. So I had no doubt that we are going to improve, but I didn't expect to be this soon.
Exactly.
It has come very soon, and I'm happy.
Especially vile tulianza the league.
Exactly.
With so many draws and losses. Kama fans wana jam.
Exactly. And one thing that when we were having a very difficult run, one thing he was saying was, guard the budget, trust the process. That's one thing he kept saying, you know, despite the fact that people were speaking against him and all that, you know. And now you're seeing the fruits of that. And this one has been shown by the game against this game against APS Bomet. You see the fight in the players, you know. You see now the passion that the players have for this team, and the talents that they signed during the summer. Do we say in Kenya, do we call it summer?
In summer transfer window. Okay, you don't have you just have a transfer window.
Okay, the long transfer window. The talents that wakina Kinyanjui, wakina Senyonjo, the ones who came in. We are seeing their contribution. It is immense, you know. And now the belief, and this weekend game whereby they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
9 minutes.
An amazing comeback, you know. That shows the fight and the spirit that the players have right now, the mentality that they're having right now, that Coach Ambani is inputting in them to make sure that and they believe that they can win this cup. You know, there's one thing I love about the Ambanis now, as the coach and the president, is that the self-belief that they have. When you hear them talk, they speak as if they know that they are winners. And when you have people at the helm who believe that they are winners, it trickles down to the playing unit, the players and all that. So when they have that self-belief, you know, sometimes self-belief wins you titles. We can have, maybe your team cannot be the most talented one, but the self-belief, if you can refer to this team, England, Yakinavadi, Leicester, when they won the league, they didn't have the best of talents as compared to the other teams, but that self-belief and just knowing that we are here to make sure that we surprise everyone, and it gave them the title. So that's the same thing I'm seeing with the FC Leopards, and don't be surprised if FC Leopards goes on to win this game. And I feel like if it was not for the poor officiating and the questionable goals we are seeing in this Kenya Premier League, still now would have been somewhere, you know. I know you understand what I'm referring to, especially I'm talking about the Moranga Seals game against Gor Mahia. But forget it. At the end of the day, it's upon FC Leopards to win each and every of the game. They should not look at Gor Mahia. They should not look at any other team that's below them or above them. They should be focusing on winning each and every game that comes their way. And I believe they're capable of doing that. And they've shown that this season.
But I think ni kitu, given that it is already the public domain, hata Fred Arocho, one of very known sports journalists in Kenya, talked about the same. But this time, yeye anakuwaga fan wa KCB sana. Na Ovela Ochieng alifunga very funny free kick when Nairobi United was playing KCB. Mpaka akasema, fraud goalkeeper, sack him now. So, we need to talk about it because angalia kipa Mrangasil, the 3 goals. Tatu zote totally like crazy. Dropping balls across Sidabo and stuff like that. How are they protected or what is even happening? I think it is too much. Sahi imekuwa like kufunga is normal for everyone. At least no. Okay, the FC Leopards goals we can say those ones you can't blame the keeper because they were top finishes. Exactly. Alafu pia ile bao ya pili ilikuwa a rebound from the defender to FC Leopard. You can't blame the keeper because such things happen. But when you see a normal cross inakuja yenye haina power, when you see Ovela Ochieng's free kick, it was a very acute angle yenye ndio Ovela yafungie malalifungia na kipa kwa sikushika. It's crazy. Do you think maybe they are protected ama kuna hii gambling is a syndicate whereby iko tuna watu wengi sasa hapo ndani that are eating?
I don't say gambling, but I don't know. But somehow something like this is happening because if you look at it is not one thing. It is not, and within a season, it is crazy, you know. And Kenya having a history of players gambling, it brings questions. You know? And there's a team that took action against their keeper. They sacked the keeper more in the morning.
Plus the trainer, Oburu, Safapaka.
Exactly, we need to see such. You know? And there's something that was coming up for this game. I don't want to bring it up here because I feel like it would be, but I'm inclined to say it, but after tuning and siseme. But I feel like this is something that should look into. The AF should look into this. Why is this happening? Because the moment we get to a point whereby we are conceding very questionable goals when such professionals, I call it the professionals because the moment you play for the Premier League, you're a professional already. So when it comes to questionable, and it's a series of these mistakes and all that, something should be looked into. This should be looked into. Yeah,
we saw some kamata happening in Roysambu and stuff like that. We saw some people wakishikwa. We also saw the allegations za Matasi. We don't know how far it went. So I think it's something that maybe it is time President Hussein Mohamed should maybe check in na vitu kama hizo. We want to transition. Bado tuko na one more story ya Shabana wakisema hawajalipwa, wamegomba. In fact, kila mtu amerudi home. Players wamesema we are not going to train tomorrow. So we wonder with all those gold collections na the backing that Shabana has, mnakosa kulipa wachezaji. What's happening? So we are taking a very short commercial break. We'll be back in a few. Yes, welcome back. When we went for a short break, tulikuwa tunaongelea kuhusu the Kenya Premier League, and as you all know, the Mashemejis are at the top, number 1 and number 2, and it's a tight race because it's only goals. I think it's about tatu, yeah, because Gor Mahia won by 3 goals to nil. So it's only 3 goals separating FC Leopards and Gor Mahia, although Gor Mahia have a game in hand which we cannot count. But vitu tunasemaga ni kila mtu ashinde game zake, you just never know where someone will slap. Then bado tuko na second leg ya Mashemeji derby to come. So yeah, a lot is still there to play for, and this is what I hope that by the time tunafika hiyo Mashemeji derby, hii point inafai kutu bado hapo tu. Squad tu alienda sana kushinda mwingine hapo tu, point 1-2 tu ama hivi. Iko mabao ndo zinatofautisha watu. So let's talk about Shabana kidogo before we move to EPL. Shabana hawajalipa wachezaji, wamegoma. The plus today some of the top known journalists, one of them being Taya on his account, pia alikuwa anasema kwamba Shabana players wamerudi home. In fact wamekuwa dismissed. Wameambiwa endeni nyumbani. We see they were supposed to return to training tomorrow. Wameambiwa don't return until the dues are paid. Although bado the management ya Shabana haijaongea anything about the same, so we'll still be following up to how true that is. So but looking at it from the goal collection debt collections point of view, Shabana wako na very good funds. The other time wali collect 3 million, game Gor Mahia juzi wamesema 1 point something million. That's practically 4 million. Now, so hii issue, why should we be having such problems in this era and time? Now sport pesa pia iko hapo.
It's quite shocking. But it's nothing new to the Kenyan football. But I fail to understand why this is an issue, because they have a sponsor. They are collecting massively from the gate collections. I think the issue of management in Kenya is a tall order. I feel like unless they do right to us with these figures, but if at all those are the figures they get, then something is wrong here by the management, you know. And it's crazy that you can be you as a president of a club or the chairman, you can take your players for 2 months without pay. It's crazy. There's somebody is sleeping on the job, because these players need the money. They deserve to get the money. They live. They have rent to pay. They have food. They need to do things on their own. This is work. So you cannot go in whatever company. You can't go to months without paying your company.
So I think Nikitu Bade Shabana should be looking into. I think also we should be having rules and regulations whereby each and every team declare the amount of money they have in the bag and how much is going to be used for operations and how much is going to be used for paying players' salaries. Because why would we be having such things at this time and point? But anyway, as you have said, it is still something that is still on developing, and we are keeping an eye on it. So we'll be updating you on our social media pages as they even continue to grow up. So let us tumeona change of regime pale EPL. Because of time, let us just transition to EPL. We have seen story EPL, change of regime, Chelsea new coach, Manchester United new coach bump, Arsenal wamepiga draw yao safi, and Man City losing. Let us start with Chelsea. Rosini amekuja and they are beating Brentford, but still on a good day Chelsea were losing to Brentford on a good day. So sahi tuseme okay, coach ameenda, Maresca is no longer there. Where can we pinpoint like Chelsea shida yao ni gani, ama what is not happening?
I think the problem with Chelsea, I don't think they have a problem with the squad. The problem with Chelsea, maybe I think is just tactical. It's more of tactical than, because if you look, Chelsea has one of the best squad depths. One of the best in the Premier League, you know, and from that you expect them to perform so well. So I don't understand why such is happening with Chelsea, because I believe with that squad depth they're supposed to be doing so well, and the type of the kind of talent they have at their disposal, they should be performing so well. So I think maybe the tactical approach, and I feel like this win was positive for him, despite the fact that maybe it was tough for them, but if that win was important for them, see, Brosinia came with at a bad time when the first day they were playing by Arsenal, but we saw the fight in them. So the fact that they lost Arsenal, we saw the fight in them with Carabao. Now they won yesterday, so it shows a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really looking forward to see what Rosina will do to that particular team, because having that number of squad and talent, how do you move around with them to make sure that everybody's satisfied, everybody's playing at their top level? You know, it's crazy, and I'm looking forward to see what he'll do with that squad.
Yeah, it is interesting kwa sababu at the end of the day, Chelsea, you can't be buying players and changing coaches each and every time. Although Maresca kinda talked to us about interference na management and stuff like that, which is common. We are now getting used to such stuff happening at Chelsea, and we need to change that. But let us focus on something that is interesting and close to our hearts now, because we saw a new era, and for the first time ever, Roy Keane akasema kudos to Bruno Fernandes. Never happening. For the first time, Scholes anasema Martinez, I am sorry, I misjudged you. Guy, you had a good game. So, are we seeing Carrick, DNA Man U finally working, or in just Manchester United having this new manager bump stuff?
I'm going to concur with most of the people who say that they felt the DNA of Manchester is back. We saw that. Anybody who watched that game will realize that the last time we saw such a game was maybe during the Ole Gunnar's time. You see? That you know, Manchester United is attacking, be brave with the ball, you know. And for the first time, we saw people brave and confident and comfortable with the ball at their feet. For the first time, I saw Dogu doing so well. I saw Casemiro dominating that midfield, doing clean tackles, giving great passes. You know, I saw Mino doing so well at that midfield, better than I've seen him for the past 1 year. So I feel like we saw the confidence in them. We saw them do something with the ball whenever they got the ball, because on a good day, if they converted all their chances, this would be a 7 million performance.
Definitely.
Then this is Manchester City. A game playing against Manchester City, and Manchester City only registered in one shot on target in the whole game. We have never had that in the Manchester derby. We have never had that. So for the first time, I saw a new Manchester United. Saying about we are back, I'm not sure about that, because it's only a single game. Let us see maybe a run of 5 games. If this maintains, then you can say maybe the old Manchester is back. But for the meantime, let us just celebrate the fact that Manchester won comfortably, dominated against Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Haaland was nowhere to be seen. We saw Martinez proving himself, despite people were complaining about his size and Haaland's when you compare, especially his scores. I saw him swallow his words. I saw people who are talking down on Dogu. I saw them now saluting him. Casemiro's of this world. I'm still not convinced by Dalot, though he did during that particular game. So, and now we are coming to a point where Bemazrao is back, you know, and you know that when he's at the fullback, we see now. Actually, the one thing I loved about is that people were playing in the natural positions.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruno is back to the 10. We are seeing his contribution at the 10 position. Shaw is back to the left back. We are seeing Dalot at the right back. We are seeing Meno not that they're playing at the number 8. Right. And him and Casemiro giving Bruno that confidence of going forward, you know. That is what we want to see. And the tactical approach that Carrick had in that particular game, whereby he benched Sesko and Cunha to start Mbumo and Ahmad, that pace that we needed, you know, because, you know, Man City, normally they play a highline. And the only way to beat a highline is having very fast forward, you know, forwards who are very fast. And we saw that, and it worked very well for them. So it was a genius tactical approach by Carrick in that particular game. And I hope he continues being unpredictable in the next game, because the next game is also tough. Arsenal is a very tough game. So I'm really looking forward to see what they'll do against Arsenal and how they'll carry themselves. If at all they'll play with the same bravery, the same confidence, and the same approach of maybe trying to win every game, you know. I'm really looking forward to that game. And that will be a very big determining factor for Carrick.
Yeah, it's a good one, because Arsenal drew. Now they are 7 points ahead of Man City by virtue of gaining a point from Nottingham Forest. But now, because we are almost running out of time, but let's just talk Arsenal kidogo in relation to now the game against Manchester United, and maybe how important is this match for both Carrick and Arteta in the title race and maintaining this confidence when it comes to now Michael Carrick?
This is a game not only but also for the bragging right, you know. And the fact that Arteta is looking at maybe trying to clinch his first title, you know, by the fact that the teams that are behind him are dropping points, you know. Man City dropped points, Aston Villa dropped points, you know. So if they win this match, it will be an advantage for them. If they drop points, it will be a disadvantage for them because I believe Man City is playing against Wolves in the next game, and we are not expecting Man City to lose against Wolves coming from a loss, you know. So it will be a pressure on Arsenal to try to win this game. But unfortunately, they are meeting a rejuvenated Manchester United, you know. In that new manager bounce, you know, we can say that. But also know that Carrick is a very good tactician. In the previous time he managed, the last time he managed Manchester United, he won against Arsenal. He beat Arsenal exactly. So that confidence that Carrick has in the players having now in Carrick right now, it's a very bad factor for Arsenal. It can get a very bad time. And even if you check in the first leg when these two teams played, Manchester dominated the game. They only lost by a goal, which is a corner, of course, but they lost only by a whisker, you know. So which means Manchester United does well against Arsenal. Traditionally, you know. So this is a game that will carry the bragging right. You will see if Carrick is the manager that we think he is, and also it will determine now the title race for Arsenal, you know. Because beating Manchester United at this moment, because the previous game that Manchester United beat at Man City has sent shockwaves on every team in England that has not played against Manchester United. So when they lose against Arsenal will have now that morale that we beat Manchester United. Now if Manchester wins now, it will also push them because I'm still very confident Manchester United can bring pressure on the title race. Yeah, definitely. Because 16 games are a lot of 16 games is a lot of games. You know, anything can happen between here. If Manchester have a good run of games, you don't be shocked in the next 4 games they're fighting for the top spot. You know, so this is a very crucial game, and every eye will be looking at this particular. This is the game to watch this weekend.
Yeah, itakuwa Sunday at 4 p.m. Which is UK time, so I think in Kenya it will be something to do with 7 p.m. But yeah, we saw 6 something or 7 p.m. So it will be a game that will be here. Kukuambia vile kumeenda again next week on Monday. So some people are here. Nakoi, Janet, Pamga saying on Mata Senegal, I really don't know how to explain the feeling. The victory came with I know she is a Senegal fan. Congratulations to Senegal. Simon Peter is saying that. Calvin Pia following the same, and I think watu wengi walikuwa Senegal, and given the time that tuko nayo, and our director is telling us time is just up, so I think this conversation can still go on the social media. You can still tell us what you think about these things and everything about it. So maybe in 20 seconds, what should Manchester United do for that game against Arsenal? Then we close from there.
I think be unpredictable. I think the tactical approach is very important here, you know, and we know the type of games Arsenal play this season. They are so much defensive. So how do you break Arsenal's defense? Because they are one of the most disciplined defense in the whole of Europe. So how do you break that defense? That is the biggest question Michael Carrick should be doing and try to address that. If you get a way of unlocking that defense, as Arsenal defense, you beat them at their own game, because Arsenal are not scoring. Yeah, it's absolutely. They are very blunt when it comes to scoring goals. So the only way is just breaking their defense, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it will be an interesting match that will be everyone will be there, and United opposition. Since you come United opposition, I know Manchester City will be behind us, Chelsea will be behind that, Liverpool and Aston Villa, all of them will be there, and will be issuing a statement after the game on where we want to go next. So it will be interesting. So thank you for joining us, everyone to join kwa Facebook, and also who have just tuned into EBN TV. Thank you for always being our loyal viewers and followers, and also keeping on always telling us what you feel and think about all these things. That's a good game that we'll be watching. Also Man City versus Wolves will be a very, very good game of football, because it will also shape how the Premier League will be looking at. And also tutakuwa tunaangalia hapa KPL how the race between AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia pans out.
Shabana 2 PFC.
Shabana, yes, Shabana also Kakamega Homeboyz wako mbali sana, because it's just one loss or one draw for AFC and Gor Mahia, and the two will also catch up with the rest. So thank you so much for joining in. My name is Gladson Madin. I'll be seeing you here again next week on Monday. Thank you so much, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.